Speaker, the President of the United States.
Oh, yeah, he does the fight. Noticing a half and half split in the room here. We should have made a bingo card. I feel like Canada, 51st state, tariffs, crypto, Greenland. The big one, I don't know if this is today, but there's been talks about leaving NATO. If I get to see that happen live, I can tell my grandkids in World War III. I can tell them about where it all started. I was there for it. All right, folks, let's get to that speech. Was Dana White there? I didn't see him. Where's Obama? Obama's not in any elected office right now, so he wouldn't be there until he comes in from the top ropes. Well, I don't think Dana White should be there either, but someone said he was. I didn't see him. Maybe I'm wrong. Elon shouldn't be there either. It's Congress. It should be Congress people, families, and Trump. Where's Asmongold? Where is Asmongold, dude? He should be there. Luka Doncic should be there. As one of the greatest living Americans, Luka Doncic should be there. USA. USA. Okay. Dude, what a fucking... What a long intro. All right. Speech time. Why don't you guys do this for me when I come on the stream? I feel like you guys were calling me bald in the first 30 seconds. If you guys do this for me, we should have at least a 5-minute standing ovation. We do? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you guys are doing this. Come on now. Come on now. Dude, come on. Well, it's not a sports team. Dude, come on. Yo, we don't need do the wave. Do the fucking wave in Congress. Bro, this is like some Stalin shit. Ben Shapiro's there? I don't fucking know then. Ben Shapiro's there?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States.
Another 5 minutes, please. Standing ovation.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
Oh, boy. Oh, dear. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me.
Six weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America.
Wow.
We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years, 8 years, and we are just getting started.
Standing O! Oh, Elon's here. Good. Good, good, good.
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
I have a tough time agreeing with that, Donnie T.
The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed.
I think we're on the verge of a very bad recession.
Never witness again.
Bro, just keep it up, man. Keep up the golden age. See how the midterms go.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
What's happening? Oh my God. What the fuck's happening? This is a kangaroo court! We're in a kangaroo court! What the fuck is happening?
And won counties in our country 2,700 to 525 on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever.
He keeps having to get up for the mandatory standing ovation.
Small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
I can't even tell what he's saying. He doesn't have a mic.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore
I don't know who that
order
is.
to the joint session.
Oh my God. Well, we are a divided fucking country, I'll be honest with you. We are a divided fucking country.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Who is this?
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Al Green from Texas?
Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it.
See, I disagree. I feel like they elected you for getting prices down and border control. That's the two things that people voted for. I do not think they have voted you for these things, dude. For leaving NATO and fucking crypto reserves and...
That the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation.
You can't... Bro, even if you were doing good, which I don't think so, you can't say it's the most successful presidency
And what makes
at
it even more
month
impressive
2.
is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but we'll take it.
Oh, he'd be so good on SNL, though.
Illegal border crossings.
He actually is
were by
funny.
far
It's just not that funny when it's the president.
ever recorded, ever.
Is she not standing? Is she over the standing O's?
They heard my words and they chose not to come. This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them
I
stand
disagree.
or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do.
They should smile more.
I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded.
It's about COVID too.
These people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
You're right. You're right that it shouldn't be this way. I'll give you that.
So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America?
Okay, can I hear about them?
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
Nancy Pelosi? She drinking?
And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto
Show me
workers
Elon.
and companies.
Show me
from
Elon.
economic
Let me
destruction.
see Elon!
I have directed that for every 1 new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first day.
Bro, that is the exact policy my coworker at Twitch who played Jigglypuff proposed in 2015. And that guy used to get interns to play him in Melee so he could beat them.
Ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We've ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
It's back, baby! Let's fucking go! Comedy is legal.
And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
I'm still ordering tacos in Spanish.
I renamed the Gulf of Mexico.
I just did it. It's
the
Protest
Gulf
Act.
of America.
Oh my God. Gulf of America.
And likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again.
Standing up! Man's always the second one to stand up. He almost doesn't want to do it, but he has to when Johnson does it.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
Camera.
Our country will be woke no longer.
Cameraman crazy for that one.
You are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller.
Don't bring up air traffic controllers.
Based on skill and competence.
Bro, not a good time to bring it up. There's a lot of plane crashes, bro.
Very important. And I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
And they both want grocery prices down. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
Dude, I just had an Uber driver that would not shut up about this. He was convinced this was the biggest fucking problem facing the earth. Bro, it was like 30 minutes in traffic back from the Staples Center.
Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton,
she's
from
never
now
seen
on,
anything like it.
will kick
What
men
what
off
is
the girls' team, or they will lose all federal
Why
funding.
is he talking about the shot? It was a shot like she's never seen it before. Why is he glazing the shot?
And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes
Bro,
ahead of a woman for a new record by 5
please
hours.
talk about the fucking
Broke the
economy,
record by
please.
5 hours. It's demeaning for women.
Please talk about
and
the
it's
fucking
very bad
economy.
for our
We are
country.
literally
We're not gonna
facing a
put up
recession,
with
man.
it any longer.
Take a swig, Nance. Take a swig.
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen.
Must the voters say so, right?
Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
Okay. Is that it? Bro literally spent more time on critical race theory and...
Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control. And we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job.
Come on. This is a little transparent, right?
That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. You've heard me say many times we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
Yeah! Holy shit, we got the Avengers out there drilling!
And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
Cool. I got no problem with that.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
Let's see Elon. Come on, Mr. Musk.
To that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
I'm something of a hero. Yes, I'm something. Oh, thank you.
By Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
He's humble. Yes, I'm pretty good at Path of Exile as well.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that.
100% sure on that.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million.
Bro, he's killing up there.
LGBTQI+.
Like a comedy club.
In the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender.
Well, you got to have that. If we don't have trans mice...
This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed.
Okay, I hope there's far worse, because if you add all that up, that's really small.
Intelligent, mostly young people. Headed up by
it does not add up to the massive tax cuts just passed.
Hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taken back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation. And we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109.
I just hope this doesn't end up being a backdoor way to cut Social Security, would it?
Our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
That's his big, exaggerated laughing face. Cracks me up. Everybody needs a Vance in their corner, dude. You tell a joke and you got Vance laughing, it looks...
1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249. And one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years older than our country.
That's me. I'm real. Yes, I was right here before George Washington. I'm getting insulted by the president on national TV.
Waste and theft we can find. We will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
Sounds great. That sounds awesome. I'm a little skeptical.
And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time.
Why
And in the
do you think they
near
took it?
future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years.
No, they did. I mean,
Balance
they
the
did
federal
drop, but they
budget.
dropped when the stock market drops. It's because people shipped over to bonds. Did he say balance the budget and I missed it? Bro, I promise you're not balancing the
We
budget.
have developed in great detail what we are calling the gold card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job
Fucking hate Howard Lutnick, dude.
So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
How about that? How about that? I just saw the budget proposal, though, and it proposes expanding the deficit dramatically.
Have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Isn't Elon Musk an unelected bureaucrat? He's here in the room.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the...
Let me be very clear.
My right here.
Look it up. Don't trust me. Look it up. These tax cuts will cost us more than all of those Doge savings add up to. So the budget is going to balloon. The deficit's ballooning. We're cutting government revenue before we've cut even close to the amount of expenditures. Tax cuts apply to me.
Tremendous success in our first
the biggest tax cuts if you make over $900,000.
Income tax cuts all across the board, and to get urgently needed
I earned
relief
it.
to
I did earn it.
Americans hit especially hard by inflation. I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax
on subs, no tax on donos, no tax on gifties.
I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
It's the most complicated and stupid tax policy. Just a bunch of random, easily exploited loopholes.
And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three. the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere.
Honda hogs, rise up! Fuck, I love Honda.
And this has taken place since.
I'm not buying the American-made one, though.
Victory on November 5th, a date which will
I don't trust the factory. I'm going to buy the Japanese one.
Most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us
what is he describing?
The most successful economy in the history of our country.
That is not true.
We had a great first term.
That is simply not true by any measure.
If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations.
Is this a list of our enemies now?
Tremendously higher tariffs than we
Mexico,
charge them.
Canada, Europe, Brazil, China.
India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd,
Really?
Reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them.
Okay, but Canada and Mexico weren't putting tariffs on us. So, it's not just reciprocal, right? We're like opening salvo and then reciprocal.
Monetary barriers to keep them
So
out of our
infinite
market.
tariffs?
There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer.
Well, it's such the opposite. It's so funny. Like, this system has been so good to us. The system is so good for America. Like, we say it all up.
The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced
It's so funny because
$500 billion
Elon Musk is on Twitter shitting all over this
they
deal
wouldn't
because he hates
have
fucking
done
SoftBank
if
and he hates
Kamala had won.
Sam Altman.
Apple announced
So he's tweeting
$500 billion
a few days ago that fucking Masayoshi-san doesn't have the money.
I cannot spend it
And now
faster,
Trump's right
but
here
it's gonna
saying
be
he
much
does.
higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA.
Hey, do it fast. Because if Taiwan gets invaded, Trump's not helping. So get building.
And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. Or we should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to.
Put it into a crypto fund.
Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer.
Yeah!
Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies. They're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in.
If we're putting a tariff on food coming in from overseas, and American farmers have no competition and can charge whatever they want, do you think perhaps that food prices might go up?
Maybe a little bit of an adjustment period.
Do you think perhaps food prices might?
When I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too.
Ooh. Flirts? TrumpOnFarmersOnly.com?
And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and
fucking
steel.
Elizabeth Warren's just texting.
If we don't have, as an example, steel.
She's like my wife during a movie.
Military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance.
Oh, what?
But we're okay with that? Not too much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been.
I've been a little disappointed, but if you announce Trump quitting too, I'm all in.
Incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. In the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world.
He's
Joe
ulting.
Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies. They are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast.
Second Manager Tate.
And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to.
Okay, standing O.
Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley.
Bro, this is the same speech from the
best in her class,
from the election.
Admired by everybody.
This is the same speech.
Went out for a jog on the campus of
It's
the
like a stump speech from
Georgia.
9 months ago.
That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by
It's like a rerun.
illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration.
I thought this was to promote the new album, not a greatest hits tour.
He had then been arrested and released in
I mean, it's 2 months in. You got the House, the Judiciary.
Before ending the life of this beautiful
This is an election
young
speech.
angel. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act.
Is he still going to be doing this speech in like 8 months? You know, it's going to be like...
It's called the Laken Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley.
Give me one more Hunter Biden laptop for the fans. If we're doing greatest hits, give me one more Hunter Biden laptop. Give me one more.
Thank you very much.
Obama born in Kenya.
Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
Vance, stand up first for once. Jonathan's beating you to the punch every time.
We needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Dude, Vance's face kills me. It fucking kills me, dude.
Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America.
Well, how about that? Standing O? Gotta be.
2 weeks ago, I officially
Trendy
designated this
Aragua?
gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bond.
GOHF.
So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
What is it? You throwing up the rock? Yeah, 13 and 30. In a fucking full police outfit. He got my hairline, though. I respect him.
DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're
That's
going
his
to
dream?
do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
All right, congrats, kid. Secret Service badge. I feel like we should watch an old State of the Union, man. They didn't used to have this much clip farming.
DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America Healthy Again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
That's the guy for the job.
With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you.
Don't change a thing, Bobby. Twitch streamers need it.
My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January, Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually. All without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate.
I don't know any of these
against
stories.
this
I cannot
form of
tell
child
what is being
abuse.
exaggerated or made up or changed.
Thank you very much.
This is not the news I read. I have no idea. Like, half of this speech is just random one-off stories that I can't verify or know anything about. All I read about is the economy, and I wish you'd talk about that.
Why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with trans.
This is all like, yeah, it's all culture war stuff. This is all just bullshit, random culture war stories.
I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you.
Jesus
Because
Christ,
we're
dude.
getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better?
Hey, standing over that one.
Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations.
Raise a glass, man.
And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting
You know that's
results
directly
ever
correlated
in the
with lack of
history our
opportunity for poor
services.
people.
What a difference.
That's like when there's no jobs. It's like a big recessionary indicator.
And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround.
That's so funny.
It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again.
Simple.
So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job.
They're really desperate for a job.
We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that.
Bernie
Call
not
of
having
Duty.
it, bro.
Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles
more
County
stories.
Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
All right. I want to start doing this. I'm just going to pick a random chatter. Hey, SFW375. He's in chat. He's a great kid. He's got a 4.43 GPA. He lost both his arms and legs in a tragic explosion in Dan Clancy City.
Jason, that's a very
And he's
big
here today
deal
to give me a
that's
Twitch
hard
Prime.
one to get into, but I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
Nepotism. That's connections to the top. That's cute. You didn't get a high five from the kid cop / secret service. Yeah, it feels like an Oprah episode.
Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason.
This is the plot. I mean, this is like the run of show for an Oprah episode.
The most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
A Golden Dome.
Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places, they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim, right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a
very expensive,
very dangerous world.
Very expensive.
We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens.
Astronomically
like
expensive. You know how expensive the Iron Dome is, and how small Israel is,
and
how big America is, and how
the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding. And
a much cheaper way is just to have allies on all our borders and big oceans. If we're in a situation where people are firing missiles at the United States, we made a mistake diplomatically.
The Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact to further enhance our national security.
And this is good. Yeah, we should do this. We need to
will be reclaiming the
slowly
Panama
but surely
Canal.
wean ourselves off Chinese
We've
dependence in
already
shipbuilding.
started doing it.
China makes like, I'm not kidding, it's an astronomical number. It's like 70 to 80% of all the world's ships now are in China.
Announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was
about to
built
smile.
by Americans for Americans, not for
He's
others,
trying to hide his smile.
but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
This already happened. Well, sort of. I mean, the controlling interest in a majority of the Panama Canal was just bought by BlackRock from a Hong Kong-based company who owned a large amount of it. So now BlackRock has it. So it's better now.
We know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job.
I think the
he
Hong
got
Kong
100
company, in
votes.
anticipation of possibly Trump doing something crazy, just wanted to dump it.
He was approved.
So they dumped it for,
99, but
I don't know, $22 billion?
The 100th was this gentleman.
To
and
BlackRock.
I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes. And I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody. And we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you.
Story just came out that Marco Rubio's pretty pissed because he keeps getting, he's like the last person to know about diplomatic decisions made by the president, even though he's supposed to be Secretary of
We
State.
strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America.
He's not in the
We
group
need
chat, bro.
Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we
He
need
looked
it
really pissed on the
for
couch when
international
Zelensky meeting was
world
happening.
security. And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism.
Bro, did you see?
3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing during the disastrous and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
Oh, come on.
Tonight I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice.
Bro, did you see that Canada is going to the UK to get a deal that gets access to their nuclear umbrella, which means that the UK would give nuclear protection to Canada were America to invade. The Canada is going to UK.
And I want to thank especially
this is fucking crazy. This is the story from today.
Arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families.
Those are our two closest allies.
Well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly,
how do you even
people so badly
how do you in 2 months get Canada to get a nuclear guarantee against America?
Such incompetence was shown that when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever.
And they were calling you crying with happiness?
We're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense, with no security, with no anything.
It's just mad they're clapping about
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Dude, Vance's laugh.
2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans. But I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent.
We're not getting along very well with
billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah, 100%. Just some guarantee of lasting peace would be, you know. I just don't want you to ignore the very, very obvious, you know, gambit of a small détente that Putin then invades again.
It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we're going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
Is that Elon? Did Elon say hell yeah? Hell yeah.
And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in.
He said the
for
line!
the country our people deserve.
Holy shit, I'm back on board.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before.
I agree.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
I agree. It will be like nothing we've ever seen before. Wow, what a speech! I personally was blown away. Arnold Sanders has a rebuttal? Dude, he was just there. That's crazy.
The most successful and popular, believe it, is through the concept of the big lie, and boy, did we hear that tonight.
I want to hear it.
You say something that is grossly false, say it over and over again, and have right-wing social media blast it out endless times until people actually believe it. And then, rather than address the real issues facing the American people, the struggles that the American people are facing,
Yeah.
we find ourselves wasting endless amounts of time discussing Trump's absurdities.
Yeah.
Let me just give you a very few examples. Trump claimed that the 2020 election was stolen from him and that he won by a landslide. Remember that? A lie. Trump claimed that the January 6th insurrection was a day of love. A lie. Trump has claimed that millions of undocumented people voted and do vote in American elections. A lie. Trump has claimed that climate change is a hoax originating in China. A lie. Trump has claimed that Ukraine started the horrific war with Russia. A lie. And tonight, just tonight, Trump claimed that millions of dead people between the ages of 100 and 360, I guess, were collecting Social Security checks. And that is an outrageous lie intended to lay the groundwork for cuts to Social Security.
Yeah, that's what I said, Derek. That's what it sounded like.
Dismantling the most successful and popular
It sounded like
government
setting up for
program
cutting
in
Social
history.
Security.
So let's be clear about that. Well over 99% of Social Security checks are going out to people who earned those checks. 70 million Americans. Nobody who was 150 years old or 200 years old or 300 years old is receiving Social Security checks. And on the lies go. Now, the purpose of all of this lying is not just to push his hateful right-wing ideology. It is not just to try to divide us up. It is more than that. It is a masterful effort, and you saw that tonight, to deflect attention away from the most important issues facing the people of our country. Issues that Trump and his billionaire friends do not want to address because it is not in their financial interests to do so.
Bro, it's too bad he sold.
Trump gave his State of the Union speech tonight. But if you listen closely, that speech had very little to say about the State of the Union, about what is really going on in our country, especially for working families. Trump spoke for over 90 minutes, although I must confess it seemed a lot longer than that, and he almost completely ignored the issues that are keeping working people up at night.
Yeah, tell them.
As they worry about how their families are going to survive in these very tough times. And I will tell you exactly why Trump had very little to say about the real crises facing the working class of this country. Think back 6 weeks ago when Trump was inaugurated for his second term as president, just 6 weeks ago. Standing right behind him were the three wealthiest men in this country, Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, and Mr. Zuckerberg. And standing behind them were 13 other billionaires who Trump had nominated to head major government agencies. Many of these same billionaires, including Musk, were in the Capitol tonight listening to that speech. In other words, it is there for all to see. The Trump administration is not hiding it. The Trump administration is a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class.
FUBU.
Notwithstanding some of their rhetoric, this is a government that could care less about ordinary Americans and the working families of our country. My friends, we are no longer moving toward oligarchy. We are living in an oligarchic society. Now let's take a moment and try to escape from Trump's parallel universe, the universe that you heard tonight. And let's do something really, really radical. Let's actually take a hard look at the problems that Americans are facing. Today, 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Unlike Trump, I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck, and I know something about that reality. It means that every day, millions of Americans worry about how they're going to pay their rent, pay for childcare, pay for a doctor's visit when they get sick.
He's spitting.
They worry about what happens when their car breaks down and they can't afford the $1,000 it costs to get it fixed. And what happens when they can't get to work because they don't have a car. They worry about how they can afford to buy healthy food for their kids when the price of food is off the charts. Funny?
I'm sorry, when is he going to stop in the middle of the speech and pull somebody onto stage? When is he going to bring up some random unrelated person in the crowd and tell all their life story and use it as a political prop? This is like, he's just talking about these fucking issues. This is so boring. Can you pause in the middle and we can do a standing ovation?
I heard Trump speaking for 90 minutes tonight. I didn't hear one word from him about the economic reality facing 60% of our people, or the enormous stress that they are living under. 90-minute speech, not one word about the economic reality facing American workers. But that's not all. Today in America, everyone knows that our healthcare system is broken. It is dysfunctional, and it is outrageously expensive. We remain the only wealthy nation on earth not to guarantee health care for all. Mr. President, you really want to make America great again? Then make sure that every American, regardless of income, can go to a doctor or a hospital and not worry about how they're going to pay the bills. President Trump, health care is a human right. I didn't hear one word from you. Not one word. Over 90-minute speech, not one word from you about the health care crisis that is impacting many, many millions of our people.
Amen,
Nor
brother.
did I hear you say why we pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, sometimes 10 times more than the people in other countries, and why 1 out of 4 Americans are unable to afford the prescriptions their doctors prescribe. Not one word about the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs. Mr. President.
So wait, if healthcare is government subsidized in Canada, and Trump wants to invade Canada and make it the 51st state, can we all go to Canada to get free health care as the 51st state? Because there's no longer a border. We would have a nationwide Canada healthcare plan. Does that...
We have nearly 800,000 Americans who are homeless. Over 20 million of our people spend more than half of their limited income on housing. We have a major housing crisis in America. Everyone knows it, apparently, except you. Because in your speech tonight, I didn't hear you mention the housing crisis. Today in America, we have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had. 3 richest people in America, the folks Trump invited to stand behind him at his inauguration, now own more wealth than the bottom half of our society, 170 million Americans.
If you're telling me that 175 million Americans, the broke half, really worked harder than Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, you're a fucking liar, Bernie. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry. Normally I would agree with you, but I have to draw the line somewhere. This is fucking insane. Those 3 men worked their asses off for that money, and you're telling me that 175 million brokies deserve the same amount or more? It's criminal. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but it just has to be said.
Did anyone out there hear one word from the President of the United States on that enormous...
For new chatters, I'm not being sarcastic. This is what I believe in my heart and soul. Put the clip up, please. Okay? If you're new here, drink it in, folks. I have a different way of thinking around here.
Enormously important issue which gets to the very fabric of our society. So few owning so much while so many people suffer. And here's something else the president forgot to discuss. Not only is our life expectancy 4 years lower than other wealthy countries, the bottom 50% in this country, the working class of America, on average, live 7 years shorter lives than the top 1%. Got that? In other words, being poor or working class in this country today is a death sentence. Did you hear any discussion tonight as to why so many of our people...
Well, that would have been kind of a downer, Bernie. Trump starts talking about that, it would have been kind of a downer. And he was trying to keep the mood light, you know, with the golden age stuff. So you got to read the room sometime.
During his speech tonight, Trump did not have one word to say about how we are going to address the planetary crisis of climate change. The last 10 years, as most Americans know, have been the warmest ever recorded, and extreme weather disturbances and natural disasters.
I've got a plan. I've got a plan. I've been reading some comments. I've got a plan. America has 112 running nuclear reactors. If we shut these down, I swear to God, we can enter a green golden age like we've never been in before. If we could shut down these reactors. Currently, we have the most nuclear reactors in the world. But I think we can get off those quickly and efficiently.
Have been taking place all over the world, from California to India, across Europe to North Carolina. And yet, not surprisingly, Trump had nothing to say about climate change except, I guess, drill, baby, drill. Well,
someone in chat said, you realize nuclear reactors are clean energy, right? Wait, do we have a lot of new chatters today? Am I actually, well, I can't see my numbers. Is it up? Oh, it's up. Okay. We're really playing to the crowd, huh? They're never going to know where I stand. They'll never know where I stand. I'm going to mix you all up.
Well, that's going to help a whole lot. And let's be clear. Not only did Trump fail to talk about some of the most important issues facing the working class of America, but the solutions, in quote, he proposed would only make a bad situation even worse. Yep, I did hear Trump talk tonight about some tax breaks for working families in terms of not taxing tips, not taxing Social Security, and not taxing overtime. Fine. But that is chump change compared to the benefits he's going to give to the 1%, and it doesn't tell the whole story about his tax policies. According to a recent study by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, if all of Trump's so-called America First policies are enacted, including his tariffs, which he spoke a lot about tonight, the bottom 95% of Americans will see their taxes go up, while the richest 5% in our country will see their taxes go down, way down.
This is going to be awesome for me.
Tonight, in so many words, Trump urged Congress to pass his big, beautiful budget. Do you know what's really in it? This budget would cut Medicaid by $880 billion. Oh, I guess Trump forgot to talk about that. $880 billion cut in Medicaid. According to one estimate, it means that up to 36 million Americans, including millions of children, would be thrown off the health insurance they have. Hey, a 90-minute speech tonight, not one word about throwing millions of kids off of the health insurance they have. When you cut Medicaid drastically, it means that nursing homes that receive 2/3 of their funding from Medicaid will either have to shut down, lay off workers, or significantly scale back the services they provide seniors. Gee, I didn't hear that from Trump tonight either. It would be a devastating blow, these cuts to Medicaid, for the 32 million Americans who get their health care at community health centers. And it's not just Medicaid that Trump's budget would cut. It would also cut nutrition assistance by at least $230 billion. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. And can you imagine? The billionaire class, people who can support their families. Some of these guys have tens of billions.
Bro, do you know how many kids Elon Musk has, Bernie? Do you know how big that family is to support? And you're telling me he doesn't need a little bit of assistance from the government, you fucking greedy asshole? If he had 2 or 3 kids, yeah, he can use his own fucking money. But he's got 14. He's gonna have 15 by the time we're done talking. He needs a little bit of help. And far be it from us to stand in his way.
Support their families for the next 10 generations, 50 generations. People who live in incredible opulence. People who own their own jet planes. They own their own private islands. They own their own spaceships. Trying to get tax breaks by taking food out of the mouths of low-income kids. That truly is disgusting. What we are seeing is the Robin Hood principle in reverse. Taking from the poor and giving to the rich and the very, very rich.
Sheesh,
and
reverse
here is
Robin Hood.
Something else Trump has been doing. For the past several weeks, he and his good friend Elon Musk, who was up there in the audience tonight, have been throwing hundreds of thousands of federal employees off their jobs. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, that's too bad, but that's the federal government, not me, it's not me, it's just those guys who work for the federal government. But I want you to think about this. Think about it for a moment. If Musk and his friends can arbitrarily throw federal workers out on the street today, what do you think that Musk and his fellow billionaires will be doing tomorrow when artificial intelligence and robotics explode in this country? Do you think they'll give a damn about you and your families? No, they will treat you exactly the way they're treating federal employees today. You will be out on the street as well. But it is not only absurd domestic policies
what about streamers,
that we've
Bernie?
got to fight. For the first time in our 250-year history, we have a president who is turning his back on democracy and allying us with authoritarianism. No, we must not abandon the people of Ukraine who were invaded by the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. We must always stand for democracy, not dictatorship. Let me be very clear. Regardless of where Trump is taking this country, here's what I think and what I believe the American people want us to do. They want us to end a corrupt campaign finance system. Well, golly gee, I didn't hear Mr. Trump talk about that tonight. A corrupt campaign finance system which allows a handful of billionaires to buy elections. It is beyond crazy that someone like Elon Musk can contribute over $270 million to help get Trump elected, and then he gets to run the government. It is
Good deal.
absurd that any member of Congress who stands up to Netanyahu's brutal war in Gaza can expect to be opposed by millions of dollars in campaign contributions coming from AIPAC. American people want us to end this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision and move to the public funding of elections.
Yeah, amen.
Democracy is supposed to be about one person, one vote, not billionaires buying the political candidates of their choice.
I think it should be, guys, if you're new here, I have this policy and I want to see if you agree with me. It's $1 equals one vote. Okay? So it's if you have more money, you do have more votes. That way it's like, okay, you still get your vote, but like if you're rich, obviously it's worth at least more. Like I'm not saying people shouldn't have votes, they should have less votes because they're not as okay. Yeah. All right, you guys, I'm just making sure you guys are on the same page because that's like a core belief of mine.
And further, no, we should not be giving tax breaks to billionaires. That's not what we should be doing. We must demand that the wealthiest people in this country start paying their fair share of taxes. We must raise the federal minimum wage.
I actually think voting in the future should be done in the same way TikTok battles are done. Oh, like good pause. We should get Trump and Bernie up there, and whoever gets the most roses from the American public wins. Straight up. It should be we should have a bar filled up with money. I think that would be a better and easier way. We'd all understand it better because obviously TikTok is, oh, thank you for the gifties. I'll use those for votes.
7.25 an hour to a living wage of at least $17 an hour. We must make it easier for workers to join trade unions, grow the union movement, and prevent corporations from violating labor laws with impunity by passing the PRO Act, legislation that I will be introducing tomorrow. No, we are not going to cut Social Security. Quite the contrary. We must expand Social Security benefits and extend its solvency for the next 75 years by scrapping the cap that allows a billionaire to pay the same amount into Social Security as a truck driver. Too many of our seniors are hurting today for us to be talking about cutting Social Security. Over 20% seniors in this country living on $15,000 a year or less. Further, instead of making massive cuts to Medicaid, we must join every other major country in guaranteeing health care to all of our people through a Medicare for All single-payer program. We must also take on the greed of the pharmaceutical industry, get them to charge us what they charge other countries, reducing prescription drug prices by 50%. And at a time of a terrible housing crisis in Vermont and in every area of our country, we must build at least 4 million units of low-income and affordable housing, stop corporate landlords from jacking up rent prices, and establish a cap on rent.
I don't agree with that one.
Competitive global
Love the
economy.
speech, though.
We need the best educated workforce in the world. All of our young people must have the ability to get a higher education by making public colleges, trade schools, and universities tuition-free and canceling student debt. Yes, we can create
Rent control
millions
doesn't
of
work.
good-paying jobs by combating climate change and moving our energy system away from fossil fuels and into sustainable energy. You know, I heard a lot.
The real way to get rents down, look at what they just did in Austin. You have to really you have to do everything you can to scrap the NIMBY zoning laws. If you make it so people can build and create denser housing, 100% housing will appear instantly. Instantly. There's insane demand. That is how it works. If Austin had tried rent controls, they would be in the exact same housing problem with a few people getting a subsidy from everybody else, including young people, new people to the city, anyone trying to transition in who can't get a house. Rent controls pretty consistently disastrous policy. It is a short-term political move that helps people that already have a house. Fine, I mean, they need help, but it hurts everyone else. There's a consistent drag. But if you cut the NIMBY policies, I mean, Austin rents just dropped like 22% because they made a concerted effort to do this. Supply went up insanely, and now prices are in free fall. It works. The real problem is the zoning laws where you can't build anything. But I don't begrudge Bernie, one thing I disagree on.
A lot of talk about freedom tonight from Mr. Trump. Well, in a free society, we must absolutely guarantee that it is the women of America who control their own bodies, not the local.
What's NIMBY? It means not in my backyard, and it's NIMBY. And it's basically people that are always saying like, yeah, we really should build more housing for low-income people. But then when you try to build it, they block it because I don't want it near me, not in my backyard. It might hurt my property value. It's a big problem in almost every city in America where people will talk about wanting these things, but the second it has any impact or anything near them, they'll do everything they can to block it. And so cities that have like overcome this political hurdle and done everything they can to actually change zoning laws so you can build, immediately see huge surges in building. It's like instant because the demand is crazy for it. And then with a massive amount of supply, the fucking price goes down. It's that.
Oh, I know, because I've heard from many of you, that there are a lot of people out there who are feeling angry and frustrated at what's going on here in Washington, D.C. And some of you may feel a bit hopeless. So let me say this. This particular moment in history, despair is not an option. Giving up is not acceptable. And none of us have the privilege of hiding under the covers. The stakes are just too high. Let us never forget, real change only occurs when ordinary people stand up by the millions against oppression and injustice and fight back. That is the history of the founding of our nation, when brave men and women took on the mighty, invincible British Empire. It is the history of the abolitionist movement, the history of the labor movement, the history of the civil rights movement, the women's movement, the environmental movement, and the gay rights movement. Yes, I know. The oligarchs are enormously powerful. I deal with them every day. I know that. Yes, they have endless amounts of money. Yes, they control our economy and they own much of the media. They have enormous influence over our political system. But from the bottom of my heart, I am convinced that they can be beaten. If we stand together and not let them divide us up by the color of our skin or where we were born or our religion or the language we speak or our sexual orientation. If we bring our people together around an agenda that works for the many and not just the few, there is nothing in the world that can stop us. We can win. We will win. Let us go forward together. Thank you all very much.
Sheesh. That was a good speech. That was actually a pretty incredible speech, given that he did it live after we just saw him at the congressional address. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty impressive. That's not as impressive as doing a Marketing Monday with no script, but I mean, it's a solid number too.